to order. Today is Thursday, January 25th, 2024. The time is 9:07 a.m. My name is Cheryl Renatza. I'm serving as chair of today's panel. My colleagues on the panel today, seated to my left, Mrs. Parole, and to my right is Mr. Pete Freeman. And our first remote location this morning is at the Orleans Justice Center, Orleans Parish Justice Center. We are at DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge. First, I'd like to ask staff here to please introduce themselves for the record.
Emily Holbert, Jason Thompson, Whitney Trustler, Carla Williams.
Okay, and would the staff in Orleans please introduce yourself for the record?
Yeah.
Trying to get their attention. Can you hear me, Mr. Brister?
It seems like Mr. Brister can hear you, but is not able to unmute the iPad himself.
Get the attention. Can y'all give him a call? Wait, he's coming. They're coming.
There you go.
How y'all doing? I'm sorry about that.
Would the staff member please introduce yourself for the record?
Excuse me, say it again?
I'd like for the staff member who's working with that camera to please introduce herself for the record.
You put that on the camera?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
She said you want to adjust the camera?
Yeah, if you could just sit back a little bit there, I can see you better, but we'd like to have her name. What is her name?
Oh. That's better? She's,
That's better, thank you.
all right.
Introduce yourself, tell us your name and DOC number, please, sir.
769-127.
And just for the record, what is your full name?
Gerard Brister.
Rod Brister. Mr. Brister, you have counsel with you this morning. Ms. Bennett, would you introduce yourself, please?
Good morning. My name is Ariane Bennett. I'm counsel for Mr. Brister from the Orleans Public Defender's Office.
Great, thank you. Mr. Brister, do you have a parole revocation questionnaire there with you? Do you have any paperwork with you this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is that your signature at the bottom of that page dated November 16th, 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Brister, and we understand that you have counsel with you this morning, so we're ready to proceed. I'll read the allegations against you, after which you will enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. Your case has been assigned to Mrs. Wise. She'll take the lead on the interview. Finish with our interview, we'll turn it over to Ms. Bennett for her presentation. And if you'd like, you can make a statement too before we reach a decision. You ready to proceed? You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Brister, you're accused of violating the conditions of your parole, specifically condition number 4. You were arrested September 6, 2023 by NOPD and charged with illegal carrying of weapons, felon with a firearm, illegal carrying of weapons with a controlled dangerous substance, possession of meth, resisting an officer by flight, and illegal possession of a stolen firearm. We do note on November 6, 2023, the charges were refused by the district attorney's office. Mr. Brister, how do you plead to violate condition number 4?
No.
Your option, you're not guilty.
Mr. Brister pleads not guilty.
Not guilty. Okay, thank you. Next is condition number 5, which states you were arrested September 6, 2023 by NOPD, charged with illegals with a controlled dangerous substance, possession of meth, resisting an officer by flight, and illegal possession of a stolen firearm. So, Mr. Brister, how do you plead to violate
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Would you answer Mrs. Wise's questions, please, sir?
Are you having a hard time hearing us? That's why you're leaning in?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, I'm gonna speak as loudly as I can. How about now? Can you hear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us why you're in jail. What happened?
Wrong place at the wrong time, seeing a family member, it just, went left.
I heard you say wrong place at the wrong time, and you were seeing a family member, and I didn't hear the rest of it.
Yeah, I was saying, like, I just seeing a family member, cause I just came home, so I'm chilling in front of the door with my cousin. And at the time, the people coming pull up, they was patrolling, and I got caught in this of whatever he had going on. It was, it wasn't really worrying about me, but I just got caught in this with my family had something going on. They been watching.
So why did you run? You knew you just got out of jail. You hadn't done it. Why did you run? I can hear you.
I had drugs in my pocket. It was,
I want to state for the record, you did get paroled on August the 18th of 2023. And you were arrested on 9/6 of 2023. Now, when I reviewed your file, you were off to a good start. You reported to probation parole on August 21st for an office visit, and then your officer saw you at home on August the 29th. So you were off to a good start.
yes, ma'am.
Then you got this arrest. Now, there was an indication in the record that you was living with your aunt and uncle, and then I saw another indication that you were living with a girlfriend. So who were you living with?
No, I live in my mama.
I can hear
My parole is by my mama house. He came to see me by my mama house, and I was there.
and I'm sorry, I did not hear what you said. I know you think I did, but I didn't hear the answer.
I said I was when my parole officer came see me. He seen me by my mother house. That's when he see me. That's where I'm paroled at, by my mother house. That's on my paperwork. That's where I was at when he came see me.
Okay,
That's when he came. I was there.
okay. So then you wouldn't live with a girlfriend at all?
Uh,
If you were released today, what would you do?
I gotta go get my job back. Look, at the midst of that happening, I was supposed to start my job next week, Tuesday. My uncle got me the job. When I came home, I did everything I was supposed to do. I went to the library, I went to for the big factory, the coffee factory, they had my uncle got me on the roof line for his job, and they told me to come to Tuesday.
Because I guess for some reason there's an echo or something, I just can't hardly hear you.
Is it more helpful if I express what Mr. Brister was gonna say? So they put them, I'm sorry, or the Orleans Justice Center uses rooms that are have 30-foot ceilings. I just regarding the allegations, what I wanted to note and what Mr. Brister and I have talked about is that Mr. Brister's cousin was arrested when he was arrested and charged with the exact same things in the police report. And my understanding is that those items were found on his cousin and they were both charged completely equally when they came through first appearances. Regarding what Mr. Brister was saying about living, his plan is to return to live with his mother where he was living prior to his arrest. She lives at 4900 Warrington Drive in New Orleans, Louisiana. And with employment, Mr. Brister was set to start a job immediately before he was arrested. If he is able to be released and returned to parole, he wants to complete his GED, enroll in welding school so that he can have a trade and be able to support his young 2-year-old child. And in the meantime, he would continue working in the service industry in New Orleans.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
In New Orleans.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Mr. Brister, so you admit you had drugs on?
Yes, sir. I really was a user, a drug that I had in my body. So, it wasn't like I had a lot of drugs. It just was something that I was using.
Okay, so you still using drugs, even though you only been out 3 months?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you ever had any inpatient treatment for your drug problem?
Huh?
Ever had any inpatient treatment for your drug problem?
Uh, but I got you say like a better way for me to know this. I understand.
I don't think Mr. Brister has ever been able to receive inpatient treatment for substance use. That is one of the things, in addition to employment and mental health support, that our office will set him up with if he is able to be released back to parole.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I don't see that we have any other questions, so, Ms. Bennett, you wanna wrap it up for us?
Yes, I think we have just a brief statement. Since Mr. Brister has been incarcerated, I have been in fairly constant communication with his girlfriend, Megan Barker. They have a 2-year-old child together that Mr. Brister has not been able to spend very much time with, but feels extremely bonded to. I believe she is watching this hearing on YouTube this morning, but was not able to join. He has a supportive family. He's extremely close to his mother and his aunt. He has people in the community that would support him if he was able to be re-released to parole. Our office would be a continued support for Mr. Brister. We would help him enroll in a GED program at Delgado that he could attend and complete at his own speed. Mr. Brister dropped out of school in the 9th grade. He had an individualized education plan, and it seems like he was not getting the support through the New Orleans public schools that he needed. And I think that getting community support and being back home with his family would go a long way to help him manage these substance use concerns. He's also was diagnosed with anxiety when he returned from DOC. And I think getting regular treatment for that anxiety would help him stay sober and gain employment that would allow him to support his 2-year-old child and become a productive member of society. We're asking, and Mr. Brister is asking, for another opportunity to return to parole and be able to demonstrate how he can participate with parole and complete parole.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Is there anything you'd like to say before we vote?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yeah, I, they had a job too that my uncle got me on too. It's like down the street from the hookah, it's like down the street from the other, it's another hookah lounge. And his friend with he said he was gonna get me on. He said he was gonna get me on when I came home. Like, as soon as I go home, he said he was gonna get me on. As washing the dishes and like spraying the windows outside and changing the trash.
Okay, good deal. All right, I think we're prepared to vote, Mrs. White.
Yes, sir. Gerard, you have a 2-year-old child, but your 2-year-old child doesn't need a daddy that's high. You do recognize that.
Yes, ma'am.
To find another way to take care of whatever it is that's going on, because that's the way life is. How old are you today?
I just turned 22.
Just turned 22.
Yes.
You ever had any long-term inpatient treatment?
Like goals. Like
Substance treatment.
The staff. It's still stagnant.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you can say it again.
Okay, and this is my sentence, patient. You undergo long-term substance abuse treatment at DOC. Followed by work release if there's time. And there's a special condition when you get out, cooperate with the public defender's office and their programming and work on your GED. That is my vote, and I'm only one vote. You're gonna be, that's my vote.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Brister, main problem I'm looking at is that you wasn't out long when you had a gun, whether you want to admit it or not. Police saw you with a gun, saw you discard the gun, you admit having drugs on you, which is a violation. My vote is to revoke.
Mr. Brister, I do concur. My vote today is to revoke your parole because I find you guilty of violating the conditions of your supervision. We will make, so you've received 2 votes to revoke, 1 vote not to revoke. So today, your parole is being revoked. I will make the recommendation that the DOC does offer you long-term substance abuse treatment so that you're ready to go home and be drug-free. When you're
Yes,
released.
ma'am.
Good luck to you, sir.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Brister. I'm gonna call Megan.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh,